Hey, it's About Town Deb. I'm so excited this week. We want you to stay tuned because I got Ryan here, I got Jaime, and we're going to talk about what it's like behind the scenes being a local entrepreneur, and especially in Midtown in Reno that's happening so much. And we might get a little personal, so stay tuned.
You know, out in Nevada near the silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community. Bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
And welcome to City Talk. I am About Town Deb, otherwise known as Debbie McCarthy, but normally it's About Town Deb. And I am excited today because I have two amazing guests. Ryan, I just adore Ryan. Ryan, you are the entrepreneur extraordinaire, rocking Midtown, rocking downtown, rocking the city, and a new daddy, by the way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So how do you feel being a new daddy?
It's
Have you
awesome.
slept yet?
Yeah, we're sleeping pretty okay. She, we take a lot of little cat naps and stuff when she cat naps.
Cat naps.
Yeah, that's the hardest part is you're kind of like,
okay, she's asleep.
She's quiet, and you run over your computer, you're like typing really fast. You're like, oh my gosh.
I know.
And then
I remember.
someone calls, you're like, oh my God, I gotta run out of the, run to the back of the house. Hello. And
I totally remember that. You'll get used to it.
Yeah. This is like the nice time. She's already been to some barbecues. She's been to 4 restaurants. She went and saw Top Gun 2.
She's a pro.
Dude, she's crushing it.
She's crushing
she got
it.
the little aviator headphone things.
They didn't have those when my kids were
right
little.
The movie. She looked like she was in
Did
the
she
movie.
sleep?
She slept the whole movie.
That's
awesome.
You're very
tell
lucky.
her name. She's a really awesome name.
Her name is Valoria Chris Goldhammer.
Valoria. Is that named after anybody?
Valoria is one of my favorite Pixies songs.
Oh, how cool is that?
So it's a song. It also, it stems from valor and valor. So, valor, bravery, and all that great stuff. And then you had velour, which at the time when they made that fabric, it was at such a tight stitch and such a tight knit that it was very, very strong material, but also very soft.
Ooh.
So it's like soft and strong.
She's
like
rocking
cool.
it. That was
I don't
very
know too
cool.
many Valorias.
I don't
This is our
either.
very
I think
first
that's
one.
great. And then we got Jaime here, Pineapple Pedicabs. So how are you doing? Are you like rocking the streets, riding away?
I'm busy. I haven't been riding so much, but
Was that a good
pedicabs are
thing?
out there.
Is that a good thing? Because that means you're getting more pedicab drivers.
I think that was the goal. That
was the goal.
But yes.
Oh, I love that. So anyway, but without our sponsors, let's make sure we thank them. We have Crystal Basin Cellars, where we have a red wine and now a new Sauvignon Blanc. Wild River Grille, we gotta all love Wild River Grille.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have little doggies. Seriously, it is a place to go. I think they were voted like one of the top restaurants in Forbes for dog friendly.
Oh, okay. That's very cool.
We're rocking it.
I didn't know that. That's really neat.
We love that. And then we also want to thank Christian with Angel Phoenix Media. He's been by my side for a long time. He's behind the curtain. And we also want to thank Dee James for my theme song. I actually talked to Dee James last night. So shout out to Dee James. And he wants to help because I'm saving my funds because Angel Phoenix Media is going to produce it. I mean, he wrote it and he wrote it in 20 minutes and just wrote this song, but it needs music in the background and all that. So they're working on that. And he said he'd like to be a part of it so he can at least get part of his voice in it since it was his song.
Very cool.
So I'm excited about
so
that.
So building a new arrangement around it.
Yes.
Wow.
Because he did it in a half hour.
Cool.
Like he just wrote it. It was crazy. And then Surratt Law Practice and Caliber. So thank you, everybody, for sponsoring us. And we are at Musicians Rehearsal Center in Sparks, Nevada. And my week, I always talk about what I did. I went to an amazing new fundraiser for me. So it was the 5th annual fundraiser for academics for the Western Nevada College Foundation, Reach for the Stars. So it's my first time, I think, going to an actual, I went to Carson City for the Art of Childhood way back. Now it's over at Ranchero this year. It was really nice. I went and I probably only knew 4 people.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun because I could be incognito.
Who was the coolest, unexpected, celebrity or Reno famous person you saw there?
Reno. Well, I did meet the mayor of Carson City.
Okay.
She was pretty,
or Carson Famous or whatever.
She was pretty cool. I also got to meet the would it be I don't want to get his title wrong. The Western Nevada College president. I got to sit at the front table, and there was a girl, Morgan Golden, who was a student speaker, and she went to college there. She's graduated. She's going to engineering, aerospace. It's crazy. It's like, it gives me hope that we've got some amazing young adults wanting to go to school and wanting to get education. Yeah. And I donated my basket, which went for a live auction item. Guess how much it went for? It was a night at the Carey House, 2 tastings, and I threw in me as well. They're going to get me. What do you think?
Oh, no.
Start with a low amount.
$500.
That's exactly
$1,500.
Wow.
Let us go up.
I know. I thought we were like hotter, colder, hotter,
I got excited. Anyway, yeah. I got excited. So it was really basically, I focused on that event, and then literally all day Sunday, I slept.
Oh.
I actually slept.
Doesn't that sound nice?
It was so nice. Well, because the event didn't end till 11, then, I had to go get a snack somewhere because I was hungry. And then I want to thank the Holiday Inn Express in Carson City. Christopher hosted us, so we didn't have to drive back. And the college is right by the hotel. So it was like right when you come into Carson City. So it was really good. And the music was good. It was incredible. So I was very happy. Oh, and also we want to thank the people who donated, because how we have all of our peeps who always donate when we have them. So we had Great Basin Brewery donated the beer, Frey Ranch did the whiskey, Tahoe Blue did the vodka, and El Sativo did the tequila, and Crystal Basin and About Town Deb did my red wine, the white wine, and then they personalized, if you can see it, their little label on the champagne bottles. Oh, so it was really cool. So I felt like I was a big part of it. So it was good. So we're going to take a first break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to these two, because I want you to realize that being a business owner is sometimes not all that it cracks up to be. And both of these guys are about community, and they work hard behind the scenes to bring all the business together. So stay tuned. It's About Town Deb with City Talk.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to our second segment of City Talk. I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, your host, and we are at the Musicians Rehearsal Center in Sparks, Nevada, right next to our Reno, Nevada, which we're going to be talking about. So I'm going to go back to Ryan Goldhammer. You have been an entrepreneur and friend for many years. Yep. And when I first met you, were you with Picnic when I first met you, or did you already have Noble Pie? I think you had Noble Pie first.
So we started Noble Pie.
So talk a little bit about that.
I just actually had a lot of old memories popping up in my Facebook. It's always so funny to see like what your voice was back then.
Oh, like, you mean like this, not this voice.
Yeah, like the way you like what you wrote out to people and the way you
how was it?
used Facebook. Oh, it was good
or bad?
Some of them were pretty funny. You're just like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? There's no photos on it. It's just like I don't know, much more trimmed down style content. Back then, yeah, it seemed like, but it was fun to see those memories, and that's when we started in 2010 with Pie Face Pizza Company, as we then morphed into Noble Pie Parlor through some name change problems that we had with another company called Pie Face that was out of Australia. And in 2013, we took over Whiskey Bar and turned that into Monolith. We had that for about 3 years.
Where was that? I'm trying to picture that.
That was in the
do I know?
Arlington Tower where the Arlington Saloon currently sits.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No, okay.
And in that time as well, we opened Picnic. Picnic opened in 2014 and is still running strong. We opened Midtown Noble Pie in 2016
That was pretty cool.
Noble Pie Parlor Summit in 2020 during COVID.
I was just,
Yeah.
So with all that you just said, you're still sitting here, you're still alive, you're a
Yeah.
dad, you now have a beautiful daughter. So what was the hardest thing for you during, I know everybody doesn't want to talk about COVID, but is there one thing that really points out how you made it through? Because you were right in there.
I think the hardest thing to do as a business owner is the constant pivoting and repivoting. So, you already have so much to do when you're running your business. You're focused on so many aspects of your business, whether it's payroll, marketing, keeping things operating, like broken stuff, or policies and procedures. I mean, there's just an endless amount of things that you do to the general maintenance and repair of the business, not just actual maintenance and repair. And so when you're already doing all that stuff, and then you have to keep on pivoting with new rules or new protocols or new things you need to communicate with the guests or communicate with the just the public that you're trying to process. I mean, it's just it's a lot to just balance. Like you're throwing such a massive curveball into something that's already kind of a fragile ecosystem. True. And so that was the hardest part. And I think in a food standpoint, from like an actual with the guests and whatnot, was pivoting to so much takeout and to-go orders.
Which was good because you focus on pizza, chicken wings, easier things to take out.
But at the same time, at the end of the day, all food is better
fresh
in the restaurant. I don't care what kind of food it is. I don't care if it's takeout, Chinese, whatever. It's more delicious. It's more fresh. The textures are better. Everything that all the integrity and pride that you put into those recipes and that finished product for the guest is so much better in a lively, fun environment. All the work that you put into creating that space, to making it a living, breathing piece of art that people get to interact with and experience. Having a nice cold beer and like laughing with your friends. Those things are so important in terms of like, I think your general sensory perception and enjoyment of a product, whether it's food or what have you.
Yeah.
I think there's something special about reading a book in the library.
It is.
And finding like a weird cozy corner. Like
and
I remember as a kid,
there.
like there's something special about these. It's not just, am I going to get a slice of pizza? It becomes an experience. And I think that was probably the biggest challenge in terms of outwardly to the public and to the guests, pivoting into that sort of that lack of personability and people just picking up food, taking it to go. They call it in, they show up 20 minutes after it's ready to pick it up. They drive it home. Then they have to like take the dog for a walk and they got to get the movie queued up. And then they're like, oh, this pizza's cold and it's not
That's
very
not
good.
your fault.
You're like, okay, well,
you should have got it on time.
Well, it was ready like an hour ago. So
no, so it does.
Yeah,
it does
make
tough.
a difference. It's hard. They're the top best pizza joints in New York. There is no such thing as, or at least there used to be. Probably has changed now. But I remember like all my visits to New York, you could not call in a pizza. You have to go there. You have to sit down. You have to order it. You have to eat it you have to take at least eat one slice of it at your table. Then they'll bring you a box and let you take it. Oh. So a lot of people in New York would
frown on getting cold pizza. You have to get down there
and you have to like sit at your table. Even if you want to take it home, you have to like eat some of it and then box it up and then take it.
I did not
It's like
know
a little
that.
trick.
Oh.
But because the stakes are too high.
No, I agree.
And nobody wants to be misrepresented.
Yeah.
And especially when on every corner there's some of the best pizza in the world. So
I have a personal question.
Sure.
And then we're going to go over to Jaime. So how old were you when you very first realized I want to be in the food industry? I want to be a cook. I want to own a restaurant. Because doesn't he look like he's 30 years old?
Yeah, I just turned 40.
I know, but I'm just saying, but look at you. I mean, you look amazing. So
it's sad.
It's not sad. You should be honored. You've done so much. So when you very first thought about it.
So when I first, when the Food Network came out when I was about, 10 or like 11 or 12 years old. And in my house, my dad was king of the remote, man, his house, his kingdom. And we watched the Food Network like non-stop. And I just like osmosis just absorbed all of this information that I didn't know I was absorbing. So when I got to college, I started messing around, started cooking, worked at some really cool pizza shops. Always loved doing prep. I always, I really liked being in there in the day, preparing all the food, getting everything ready, roasting, and caramelizing and kind of learning saute and doing all this stuff. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. I had no idea that was something I would like to do as a profession. I was always into the music scene. I was always entertainment director and talent buyer and stuff like that. And when I kind of got just burnt out on that career path that I was on, I just thought, well, what do I know? What do I like? And I pivoted to food. For me, it was always something that was going to be involved in art and culture. And whether that's music as an expression of art, or food, which is an expression of art, or building design, which is an expression of art. How you design, how she chooses to market Pineapple Pedicab and to create her logo, and what kinds of pedicabs she picked out, and just like everything about is an expression of style. Yeah. And it means everything. It does. I think it's all an artistic expression, depending on which point of view you have.
Perfect. Well, you're a great segue to Jaime. Yeah. So Jaime,
I've done this before.
I know. They're a great team, by the way. So first of all, tell us how long you've been in Reno. Because you've relocated. Yep. And tell us, when did you decide I want to build pedicabs and drive people around?
I moved to Reno May of 2019. 2 days after I started Pineapple Pedicabs.
Gosh.
This is my 10th year driving pedicabs. Yes,
wow.
I know.
That's cool. Why she's so in shape.
Yeah, that's a long time.
I know, right? I started in Key West, Florida, but the first pedicab I ever saw was in Newport, Rhode Island. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And a few years later, that's what I was doing. I didn't know that I would own a pedicab company or that would be a career move. That just kind of organically happened.
See, but I think sometimes that's the best way for things to happen. Mm-hmm. They just happen. That's happened with me with everything I've ever done. It's like it was there in front of me. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll be a photographer. Guess I'll do this. And even though every time I thought, I don't want to do that, I don't know anything about it, it worked. So I think you just have to be aware of what's in front of you. Maybe.
I think the best businesses are born out of the one of the main adages of marketing that you learn is it's always easier to see a need and fulfill it than it is to create one. Mm-hmm. And so, if you see, you kind of fall into something. I think people that fall into business ownership see an opportunity, they see a need, and they think, well, I can do that. And then they step in, and you step in and fill those shoes. So usually creating that need is a lot harder to try to convince everybody that they need something versus saying, oh, I can give them what they want. So I think that's really important. And we needed
I was like,
we needed a way to get around town.
Especially because Midtown, which we're going to be chatting about that, has totally revived. Is that the word?
Revitalized.
It's revitalized. It's revamped. It's exciting. And years ago when I was living here, I would go down there, but I didn't feel like walking around down there. But now you go and you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these great restaurants. There's cocktail places. There's a whiskey bar. There's coffee places. There's thrift stores. There's pizza. There's everything.
People forget, even in 2015 when we started our build out,
that was,
there was not, we were getting in ahead of the game. There wasn't there was a Midtown starting to build, but it wasn't expansive as it's becoming now currently.
No, it's really exciting right now.
It feels so organic because it feels like it's always been there, and you kind of forget that it hasn't really been that long.
But it seems
5 or 6 years.
But it kind of
fast, right? I came in 2019,
right? But I feel like it's happening faster now. But not because of a
planned community or because there's city council forcing it to happen. It happened because of
the businesses,
forward-thinking business owners and people moving into spaces and filling in the gaps. And I think that Reno has had, and a lot of cities have had a history of sort of trying to make something happen.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that really usually works out.
Okay, well, I'm going to end this segment with a quote. So this is kind of what you guys have found. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. William Shakespeare. And I feel like you both have found your gift and you're giving it away. So we're going to take a break and be right back. It's About to Dead with City Talk.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
You know that's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I am Debbie McCarthy, About Town Deb, your host. We have Ryan and Jaime here. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Jaime because Jaime has a lot of things happening in Midtown. And I'm sure wherever you're listening, you have Midtowns and downtowns and Riverwalks, and they're probably just as crazy busy. But ours has been stepping it up. Every month, I feel like we're getting busier and busier and people are supporting us. So tell us how they could support us and what's happening.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with outside of Midtown. It's actually downtown.
It's okay. Hey, we're all one.
Truckee Meadows Bike Alliance. So cycling is huge. It's growing even more and more, as we can see with the micromobility lanes. And then we have a bunch of different embassies. We have the Dutch Cycling Embassy coming.
Wait, what's that? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I'm going to tell you about the Dutch Cycling Embassy.
Neither one. That's pretty bad that neither one of us know.
Okay, so I didn't know until just here recently. They were presenting. So they're coming September 12th through the 14th, and it's their embassy here in the United States. And the Dutch have perfected bike infrastructure. Yeah. And so now for the last
I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, and even though it gets winter there and it's freezing, they have their main transportation is cycling.
Wow.
Yeah. And they have very few deaths and nobody complains. It works very seamlessly in all their communities. So now what they do is they come around and they'll come to cities and they'll look at cities, they'll do studies, and then they'll suggest what you can do instead of trying to do like something different or reinvent the wheel. They're like, hey, we can implement this in your city.
Sure.
And so they're coming, what did I say? September 12th through the 14th, I think. Yeah, 12th through the 14th. And each night they'll be offering free rides.
Wait, you mean like we get on their bike, they're going to ride us?
Well, I'm kind of will be pedicabs.
Okay, I'm kind of confused. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, sorry.
Are they doing pedicabs or are they doing
There will
bicycle?
be pedicabs there, but they're doing cycling just to promote like how you can ride on the streets, how they are now.
Okay.
The first event will be Monday evening, and they'll be doing a big bike ride, a group ride that everybody can be in to Patagonia, where they'll be showing one of their documentaries, and there'll be free pizza.
So were they the people that implemented the systems that we're using now?
Okay. So are we going to go into that?
Yeah, we can talk about the micro mobility pilot program with the city of Reno. So these are new lanes. They will be gone in October, but we're needing everybody right now, if you like them, to go fill out the survey. You can find the survey at Pineapple Pedicabs, like on our Instagram. There's a link right there that will take you to the survey. If you don't like them, don't fill out the survey. I like them because they're wonderful and they're not set. I think this is like the biggest confusion that the city hasn't explained is that the way these lanes are, like so they're from 2nd to 5th right now, and then 5th from Lake, I think, to Keystone. And these are temporary where they're just testing them. So if you're driving north from 5th and the lanes are on one side, you have both sides where the bikes are going and then traffic. And then after 2nd, there's like this weird diagonal that you go and the lanes split and they're on both sides of the road. That they're testing. They're wanting to know which ones we like better. Okay. Do you like the side by side?
See, now I didn't know what they were testing.
Nobody did.
It was very confusing. I was trying to fill it out and I was like, I didn't understand.
Yeah, there's also 2 surveys going on right now. We're doing the micromobility one. The other one is just for how you see the future of Virginia.
But then we'll also hear from the Dutch and what their thoughts are.
See,
too,
I'm excited to see what they're going to say.
I'm very excited for that.
I'm intrigued. How did they find us? I wonder, let's go to Reno, Nevada. I mean, I wonder how we got picked
that's a great question. I'm not for sure. The guy that's leading his name is Tom, and he's a local guy. And so I'm not for sure if he reached out to them or if he's a part of it, because I know he's the one doing the entire event.
Well, I think that is pretty darn cool. We should find out who Tom is and share a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing how somebody come and do that in our city.
Definitely.
Is there something else too in September? Another event that you guys are doing?
That's the.
Oh no.
Oh, there's art. Is there art? Was
There's
there-
the Reno
Yeah.
Tahoe. Okay, so this is completely separate from any bike event, but there will be free pedicabs.
So it still counts. Still counts as a
Everything
bike.
I do is bike related. The Reno Tahoe International Art Show is happening September 8th through the 11th. Friday, they're doing a show at Cargo, which is going to be a big one.
Ooh.
But you should buy tickets to this art event. It's going to be mostly local artists, and it's supposed to be like they're going to take over the whole convention center. There'll be rooms, and
It's
they're
supposed to be pretty
interactive,
cool.
and yeah, it's like
Oh,
the
wow.
place.
And it's a
Okay,
local
that sounds
family.
awesome.
It's the Dolans.
Yeah,
they're
it's
related to the
related-
Car Dolans.
Gotcha.
Brianna
Yeah,
and
Brianna,
her,
yeah.
and her dad and
Okay.
her mom and their family. I'm telling you, and they purposely when they moved here, their family was here, so they wanted to raise their kids with their cousins.
Does this event coincide with like when Burning Man is over? Is it going to be like? Is the city?
Oh,
gonna be
you
full
know
of
what?
Burners.
It
around
would
that
be
time?
after it,
It'll be
right?
after,
It'll be
yeah.
right
I think
after
that's
it.
right. I think it's the same dates as the hot air balloon.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
But that's still good because you
Yeah.
do that in the morning and then come over and look at the art. But I know that
Their
their
camera
goal,
art. That's
true.
yeah, their goal for this was to bring a lot of class and a lot of the art's going to be not just local art. We're going to take it up a notch. So people
cool.
from all over the world, their goal is to come to our art exhibit. We want to get people from New York. We want to really step it up.
Oh,
so
wow.
it should be. And they've worked really hard to do this.
Very cool.
This was their passion. So
That's very
I'm
cool.
almost didn't get my tickets. I'm glad you reminded me because I definitely want to support them. They're bringing
Right on.
people here.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be huge. Now let's move it to Midtown,
Yeah.
our favorites. So at Midtown, we wanted to talk about First Thursdays, and every Thursday is the place to be is in Midtown. They're doing salsa dancing, comedy shows, live music,
Yep.
and bingo. And then I think there's going to be something with Offbeat.
Yeah. So on every Thursday we have Oingo Bingo. So it's our rock and roll
So
bingo.
explain about that because some people may not know what Oingo Bingo was.
you know, it's
Sounds a
it's
little
a play
silly.
on words. You know, obviously play on Oingo Boingo.
And that's a music
popular
person?
80s rock and roll, punk rock, and kind of synth rock band. And so we have host Jason Kell. He comes. He's wacky, wild Jason Kell.
Wacky, wild.
We give away prizes. You win prizes every round. It's free to play. You actually play on your phone. So you just go to this website. It's called bingomaker.com. And you just log in with our free password. It's always Noble. The game is called Noble. The password's Noble.
Okay.
And you just jump in and play. And when you're playing, you can win prizes to local businesses. You win shots. You win beers. You win hats and swag and
So
things donated by our distribution
Yeah.
partners.
So with the bingo, is it like music that they're playing and you guess the song?
No,
or is it just
he goes through all sorts of different categories, but it is interactive. So he'll send out like a rock and roll trivia question for a free space. There's like wacky games where it's like all of a sudden you get a message that says, challenge your neighbor to a thumb war. So it's just like all sorts of
wow.
wacky fun stuff. Sometimes you get to come up to the bingo host and like roll some dice to win an extra prize or challenge somebody to a game of Pictionary. It's super wacky. It's really fun.
Have you
It's
done
been
it,
incredibly popular.
I tried. It wasn't, yeah.
it wasn't? It was too hard
It was
for you.
like the host was sick one time, but I got to see it on the outside of the petty.
No,
like,
well,
I
that was-
watched it one
Yeah,
time.
we did have one
That was
cancellation.
was that the very first week?
I think it might
was
have
the
been.
very first. Yeah,
Because
that was the very first.
I was there the very first week. I'm like, dang
but
it.
we've been going strong ever since. We got
Okay.
started in early June and have been going strong ever since.
There were a bunch of people there the last time I went. Like the last time I drove the petty.
Usually getting like at Summit, Melody Minx hosts at Summit.
So are you doing both the same
And
night?
they're both on the same
places?
night. So if you're in South
Okay.
Reno, you can go to
Okay.
Noble Pie Summit. And if you're in Midtown, you can go to the Midtown
Are
store.
they playing the same board?
They're playing different boards.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're playing their own individual games. But there's about probably like 100 players because people come and go. Some people stay for the whole game.
That's
Some people
so
get there
cool.
early and play a little while. Some people get there late. So you could just jump in. There's no pressure. There's no it's not like when you're on a trivia team and you have to keep on.
You can come in and out of it.
The hard part about trivia, and I love playing trivia, but if you're running late, you're done. You can't. It's like they're already on
Because you
round two, the middle of round two, and
so
you can't
you're talking
win.
about trivia,
You can
but
still
not the
play and
big-
have fun, but you can't win, because you already missed out on the points from the other round. So I think what's fun about the Oingo Boingo is that it's just way more casual, right?
Yeah.
You know, play, don't play,
Have pizza, have a beer.
ignore a round, jump back in, whatever. So it's really fun like that.
That makes it fun. So that's definitely something you want to put on your calendars, guys. And you could just show up. You don't have to RSVP.
Right.
Just show up and have your phone and I like it.
And I just found out that on October 8th, I just found out literally while we were sitting here.
Okay.
On October 8th, we have been invited to join Offbeat Festival, and they're going to be shutting down Cheney Street. And so us, Noble Pie Parlor Midtown and Pinion and all the other fabulous businesses like Arario and Midtown Diamonds, Local Salon and the Breathe Bar, we're all going to be hosting a stage. And so
is there going to be more than one stage?
It'll just be,
how does this, I mean,
for Offbeat, you buy a ticket. You can buy tickets to individual shows, or you can travel around with an all access pass and go to all shows. It's very similar to the way like South by Southwest would run in Austin, Texas. So
I don't know what that is.
It's a gigantic music showcase. Yeah. So it's a 3-day festival.
Okay.
If you could buy your all access pass and go to any show you want.
And they're all over town, you mean?
They start in the afternoon and go all through the evening. All over town.
So it could be downtown, Midtown, anywhere. Or just anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's generally they're in sort of walking distance. So downtown and Midtown.
Okay.
Mostly. But in addition, so our show will be free. It's going to be a free show. It's going to be a daytime show. So it'll be from like sometime around 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. So
I'll definitely be there.
We'll have more details later. That's all I know for now. We don't know who the lineup is, but it's going to be dope.
We're going to take a break. We come back. We're going to get a little personal. So About Town Deb, City Talk.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
Ready to help from her toes to her head. Just give her a shout. Call About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, your host. I have Ryan and Jaime here, and we were talking about music, as we always talk about music. But in the beginning, you were saying about, the food. First, you were in the entertainment, then you went into music. Well, you're in both right now because you seem to be one of the leaders of Midtown when it comes to offbeat, when it comes to festivals, when it comes to local music. You support our local musicians consistently.
Well, that was really, that was my background.
So you're good at it.
That's what I did from 2002 to 2000, even 11, even into running the first pizza shop. I still had my entertainment company that still ran for a couple of years as even supplemental income. And as I was sort of tapering my way out, sometimes you book stuff a year out, some of the bigger shows.
Yeah.
So I was still, kind of getting, sort of a soft landing out of the music booking. But then once we went into Monolith and we started having shows there and I did all the booking, and then we had Picnic and we had all the shows.
I remember that with Spike
myself
McGuire.
And Spike and Greg, we did most of the booking. And so now in Midtown, we have an outdoor entertainment permit,
which is really nice.
So we can have live music out on the patio any day, 7 days a week until 11 p.m. So that's how and we don't abuse it in terms of, it's a restaurant, it's a beer bar, right? We've got a good vibe going on. We do events, we do the bingo, we do some shows. We just had Spike McGuire there last night with Christopher Wyatt Scott. It was awesome. And so we just have a couple of shows a month, just to keep the energy flowing and to kind of keep that vibe on an upper level, but not to the point where it's it's a music venue or oh my gosh, I just came here to eat some food
and there's
have a
lots
beer
of,
and there's just music every single day or something like that. So we're trying to be really careful about that and focus on curated events, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And so during break, we were talking about the Offbeat Festival. And if you're out there and you're listening and you want to be a part of it, it would be really nice to get you involved, because I know a lot of people from Placerville, El Dorado County, they would give anything to play in Reno. And this could be their chance. So we'll have to figure out a way to get them in touch. So who would we contact, do you think? Can we contact, or they can contact me and I'll ask you and we'll find out.
I think that we can,
because we can
funnel.
We'll funnel, because I think that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
It's, we all know somebody who knows somebody.
Sure.
But I guarantee you there's an artist out there who's been playing, would really, 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 really want a chance to be heard.
And there's probably always too, I know that they're all about working with the community. I'm sure there's always opportunities to add a new venue. I mean, like us, we're a new venue now. We just got added today, right?
Which is great.
We didn't even know that we were going to be a part of the festival, because it is very hard, because like our show is going to be free. Most of the events are ticketed, or you have all access pass ticketed. And so it's really kind of them to do that for us, because that means that, Offbeat has found us some sponsors.
Oh, cool.
And so they found us sponsors to make sure that the stage is paid for, to make sure that the artists are paid for, and allow us to just facilitate, which is awesome, because that's, it makes the vibe cooler and better for the whole festival, but it's also a charity and a nicety, I think, to us to be invited in when we're not contributing to a ticketed event where the promoters are making more money. They're actually really, if anything, maybe losing money
probably
on bringing us in. So I think it's really cool.
It is really cool.
And that's just kind of goes in with what you're talking about like what community is really all about,
Yeah. And so the other quote is, a community is like a ship. Everyone ought to be prepared to take the helm. And I feel like I've seen both of you taking the helm and being, especially in Midtown. And I really want to thank you guys for that. So if you can change one thing in Midtown, in downtown of your city to make it even better, what would it be? Add one thing.
I got mine. Go ahead.
I'm obviously going to say bike.
I want the bike lanes.
No cars, only bikes.
Well, you got to have a few cars.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Virginia needs cars
at all.
No, I think you could do. And
where's the cars going to go?
You debate this. Some people debated this on my Facebook not too long ago, where I was like, I think we could take cars off of Virginia from 5th all the way down to the roundabout.
Well, where are they going to go?
And okay, so and then they were like, well, you have to have some access.
Center Street.
Yeah,
Sierra Street.
Center Sierra goes
Lake Street.
The whole way, yeah.
Arlington.
Start walking.
But you could have like a few cutovers, like Liberty, you could have it as like a throughway.
Okay, a throughway.
Cut over. There's like a few little spots that you can make so you can cut through Virginia. But I mean, really in Midtown, they've already done that. They have like the ways that you can go through. There's no need to go north.
That's true. No, that's true.
So yeah. That's my
I think making like the downtown area more pedestrian would be an exceptional idea. I know it's been an idea that's been floating around for so long. Midtown, just in general, just Midtown parking, like just off Virginia Street parking, like making Virginia Street more pedestrian, just in general, having more off side street parking, getting into more diagonal parking on streets. I had the idea a long time ago. Unfortunately, I think Edon was already doing their thing. And then you had whatever other group came in. It's always like these outside groups that are coming in, like they're like,
our city.
You should do all this stuff. It's like, okay, well, I don't know why we can't have better city planning with like best practices that we bring in from other cities that we already see working.
Yeah.
It's like we're always trying to reinvent the wheel, which doesn't really.
That's why Dutch Embassy.
That's why
drives me nuts.
Dutch
but
Embassy,
I think that also like having one-way cutovers with diagonal parking on the other side of the street would be a massive improvement. I've done just a car count. Like you can fit 30, 34 cars on a street with diagonal parking if you have this like cutting over on Toma one way, cutting over on Cheney one way, cutting over on Taylor one way, cutting over on, I can't remember all the streets.
That's okay.
But it's like, that would be just an incredible way to create more parking. I think they could do the same thing going west and linking Virginia to Plumas. I mean, there have to be better options out there.
Saying.
There's got to be better options. And when I went and presented this idea to city council, just at public comment, because they were having a meeting about parking and about the new median that they put all the way down Virginia Street and all that. And it was by the time I walked in the room, it was way too late.
Oh,
but but it doesn't matter. There's always room. There's always new ideas and forward progress that can be made, I think. And I guess we just got to rattle the cages sometimes and
sometimes you got to do that.
demand more out of your elected
I
officials.
would say the parking is number
Yeah.
one.
Well,
Because-
now's the time. Elections are coming.
You want to create, you either want to create parking to make more walkability, right?
Yeah.
Park and walk. And that
Park and walk.
creates commerce. Jump into pedicab. If you need to get a little bit further down the road, jump into pedicab, jump on a bird scooter. I mean, there's got to be better, more thoughtful, I think, strategies that are implemented.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
That would be very nice because then we could all visit all the shops and not just be in one spot because you couldn't find parking.
Did anybody see that motel that's being remodeled down over?
Where?
Is that what
In
it is?
Midtown?
Is that
Wait,
going to be a
which
motel
one?
still again, or are they
Oh.
turn into something crazy?
Which one? That one? What's it called?
Ho hum.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know it was being remodeled.
The ho hum
what's
is.
going on?
Ho hum. What's about? You can't tell?
It's a hum. I don't know.
It's a hum.
Oh, hum's
They're
the word.
hoeing around. No, they're not hoeing around. They're hoeing around.
No, I don't know for sure. I've heard things. Same with the antique
Well,
mall.
what have you heard?
Well, the
Share.
antique mall. The antique
You've
mall
heard
is
things like
huge.
you know.
How does
you've
she
heard
know all
things,
that?
but
How
you know
does she know
sometimes.
these things?
She's like, I can't
I'm a gossiper.
Yeah.
Well, when you're allowed to share, we got to find out because
Yeah.
that's a huge building, the antique one. I wonder what is going to
Yeah.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
her eyes are glittering.
I know.
She knows
The
something.
antique mall.
Look at, man, she must have some good
building
mojo.
needs a lot of work though.
I'm sure it
The
does.
Yeah.
antique mall? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both of them. Ho hum too.
Yeah.
I just love that.
You know,
ho-hum.
somebody had a cool idea that I heard the other day, which is like something that they do in. I know there's one in Copenhagen because that's where my wife's sister lives. And they have like this big. It's instead of it being like an antique shop, it's like a merchant's market, sort of like everybody's doing like
junkies, like junkies.
yeah, but it's like they're all offering some sort of like craft service.
Okay.
So instead of like, where you have these food halls, like the Ferry Building, where it's like, we make cheese here and we do this. It's like artisan more for like clothing making, jewelry making, and all this type of stuff.
So like a farmer's market situation?
Sort of like, like when they
We're getting
have, what's it called in Genoa? Like the big
Oh,
electric or the
Candy
Candyland?
Candy
Festival? Candyland Festival?
Yes.
Anyway, we're running out of time,
Whatever.
so we're going to have to come
Anyway,
back and
we'll
visit
come back
about
to that,
that.
but-
So one more quick question. In your spare time, when you are not being a dad, when you are not running restaurants, what's your favorite thing to do?
One of my favorite things to do currently is to go play golf.
Oh,
I like
for you.
playing. I get out there with like Jackie Goodman from Edible Reno Tahoe.
Yes.
Ross Ellen from The Stick. I mean,
Good
it's,
job.
it's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of like young business people that
Or taking out golf.
we're not good at golf.
You're just
but
going
it's
for fun.
It's just fun. It's nice to be out there. You have a beer, hot
love
dog,
it.
bag of Cheetos. You're smacking the ball around.
I love it. Jamie, your turn
nice way to
before we
spend
run
it.
out of time, and then websites for both of you.
I'm I've been doing sunrise hikes every day.
Ooh.
Nice.
I'm on day like 10.
awesome.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, today
I
was,
like
I mean,
that.
I'm ranking them. Today was a 10.
Ooh.
So I take my dog. Yeah, today I take my dogs every morning. We're like there at 5:45.
That's a great, that I love it.
What kind of
So-
places do you get? How far away do you go?
It's all within 20 miles and it's 2 to 6 miles. And then one day a
Okay.
week I'll do one that's like over 6 miles.
Okay,
Awesome.
well, we're almost
That's
out of
great.
time. Website
Yes.
to get a hold of you.
Findablepedicabs.com.
On Facebook as well.
Findable Pedicabs. Pedicabs, P-E-D-I. Petty, like foot, not petty, like we're petty.
Like not,
I need a petty. I don't know. I need a petty. I need a cab and a petty.
And we're at noblepieparlor.com, NOBLEPIEPARLOR. And we just redid our website. It's
Yes.
beautiful. It's very, very cool. Very user friendly.
So go check it out.
And you can also order online, pick
love
up
it.
or delivery, and save yourself money. Get off the third-party apps.
Got
Go
it.
to people's websites. Order online.
I will start doing that.
Yes.
And also, Grandma B, hello, I didn't forget you. And next week, Yvonne Murphy will be here keeping it real, so you never know what she's going to talk about. It's About Town Dewa City Talk. Together, one heart. I love you guys, and thank you for being here. See you next week.
Yeah.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.